everyone, welcome to today's English lesson. Today, we're gonna diving into the world of fantasy with me, Miss Aisyah, Miss Tristha, and Miss Nayala. Have you guys ever dreamed about flying a dragon, live in the world full of magic, or even time travel? Well, if you have, that's a part of the world of fantasy.
What is a fantasy story? A fantasy story is a type or narrative text that include imaginary elements, things that don't exist in the real world. Did you ever see the things that exist in the real world? If you ever see that, so it's the fantasy story, or it's just your fantasy in your imaginary. So you often find magic, mythical creatures, superpowers, or futuristic world. That's the imaginary elements. Next is the structure. Fantasy story is usually following by a simple structure. So this is the diagram of simple structure. So there's three kinds of simple structure. The first is orientation. Orientation is introduction of characters and setting. The second is complication. Complication is a problem or challenge appears. And the third is resolution. Resolution is the problem is solved, and often with a twist. So there's three kinds of simple structure on a fantasy story.
Now, Miss Nayala wanna tell you a short fantasy story. The title is The Portal in the Library. One rainy afternoon, Raka found an old book in the school library. When he opened it, a bright light flashed, and suddenly he was in a magical forest. There, he met a talking fox named Lumi, who asked for help. An evil wizard had stolen the time crystal, and the forest was fading away. With courage, Raka faced dragons, solved riddles, and finally found the crystal in the cave of mirror. He returned it to Lumi, and as a thank you, Lumi opened the portal to send Raka back home. But the book was no longer there. Fantasy stories use some special grammar and vocabulary. Miss Nayala wanna tell you past tense, action verb, adjective, and direct speech in a short fantasy story before. Past tense. She walked into the cave. Action verb, fight, escape, and discover. Adjective, magical, ancient, glowing. Direct speech, help me, cried Lumi.
Now it's your turn to create your own fantasy story. It must include three parts of structure: orientation, complication, and resolution. And also you have to make it fun, magical, and unique, since it's a fantasy story. And also you can perform it, write it, or even make it like a short video of animation about it. So you have to create your own creativity for this story.
It doesn't feel like we are at the end of today's learning. Remember, in fantasy, your imagination is only limit. Thanks for watching. See you in the next adventure.